Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
Today we're going to talk about the Catholic Voice Conference, which took place in the Glen Royal Hotel Tuesday, the 12th of March.
That's right. Just last Tuesday, I was at that conference. It was organised by the Catholic Voice magazine in the Glen, and it took place in the Glen Royal Hotel. And the objective was that they were going to march at 11:30 to the Bishops' Conference. The quarterly Bishop Conference takes place in Maynooth on the Monday the 11th to Wednesday the 13th. And the Catholic Voice and the Lumen Fidei Institute, which is an offshoot which tries to promote the Catholic faith, and they have meetings around the country in various hotels to try and garner support for the traditional Catholic faith as we were taught it. Now, so the idea of this conference was to, as I say, it started at 9:30. We had a talk first, but the idea was then to march and carry the statue of Our Blessed Lady of Fatima to the conference. And as we marched, which we did, we said the rosary, and it was sunny for a bit, but it started raining, but it didn't deter people. We marched to this conference, the Bishops' Conference, and Anthony Murphy, the editor of the Catholic Voice, and John Lacken, who's associated with the Lumen Fidei Institute, which is based in Mayo. They mounted the steps, and the statue of the Blessed Lady, carried by 4 men, was there at the bottom of the steps, and a security man at the top of the steps went in to get the spokesman for the bishops to come out. Monsignor came out, and Anthony Murphy presented him with the petition, which was to ask the bishops to do their duty and to promote the Catholic faith and stand up for the Catholic faith, which they refused to do in 2 or 3 referendums that we had. They come out with no view as regards helping Catholics to make up their mind, as regards the same-sex marriage referendum and the abortion referendum, which is tantamount to neglect of their pastoral duty, and of course of the blasphemy. So they were silent in all these and didn't instruct the faithful forcefully that they couldn't obey those referendums. So they didn't advise the Catholic faith. So this was an effort to get them to do their duty and teach the Catholic faith in the schools, which they are neglecting to do, and teach it properly. This Monsignor came out, and Mr. Anthony Murphy spoke to him and handed him the petition, and we sang at the time Hail Holy Queen and all the rest of it. So it was very successful from that point of view, and the fact that it might have bear some fruit, I have my grave doubts, because the bishops have been there this past good number of years. They've seen the decline of the attendance in the churches. They know factually that 80 to 90% of young people are not practicing their Catholic faith, and if it continues this way, and no vocation of priesthood, if it continues this way, churches will be empty, and the Catholic faith won't be taught the way it was. So they want to wake up and do what's required. Now, that was very self-evident in a talk that was done by Dr. Enna Johnson, a man. Enna is his name, but we'll call it Eamon because it's a name that I'm kind of not familiar with. So he gave a talk. Now, he was an engineer by profession, but he homeschooled his children, and he would be a Catholic. So he did a PhD on the study of the Catholic education in the schools and in the national and primary school, and he came up with starting information that it wasn't being taught the way it was taught, and a live sort of a program that made all religions the same and no distinction was being taught, and so that Catholics had no knowledge of their Catholic faith when they left national school and when they left secondary school, which is then no surprise that they're not attending Mass and they're voting for all these evils like same-sex marriage and abortion. So, I mean, the bishops have a duty. Their primary duty is to pass on the Catholic faith by teaching, by teaching and by making sure that the Catholic faith is taught in schools under their jurisdiction, and they've neglected to do so. This has come out very prevalent in this man, Dr. Ennett Johnson, and I presume he'd have a website, and I invite any Catholic to look at that website and to realise that solutions have to be found. And John Malone and the Christian and Jobs Action Party advocate 100% that a national movement of Catholics needs to start along the lines of the famous Kerry man, Daniel O'Connell, the Liberator, who with his associates managed to get a mass movement going during the penal times to protect the Catholic faith and promote and allow it to be practiced, which it wasn't allowed to be practiced during the penal times. He called it the Catholic Association. But now I propose, and the Christian Jobs Action propose, that there should be a national Catholic Association of Ireland to a mass movement along the lines of the famous Liberator Daniel O'Connell, and that would be established throughout the country with headquarters in Dublin and regional associations in every county in Ireland. And I support and hope that the members of the Christian and Jobs Action Party will come forward and an opportunity will present itself for such an association, because it needs a lay involvement, because our bishops have let us down. So we'd have to go back now. We have a totalitarian government. We have to go back to what we were and support our Catholic faith. And I propose that the Catholics in this country will come together in a mass movement in every country and every county, and have meetings in the like of the Hill of Slane, where St. Patrick lit the Paschal fire and was able to sort of establish the Catholic faith in Ireland by using the shamrock as the Trinity, the three persons in one. And also have meetings in the like of Clonmacnoise and the Phoenix Park, where St. John Paul, Pope in 1979, had over 1 million Catholics attending that meeting. Something like that is required, rather than trying to sort of do bits and pieces. A national movement is required, and I'm going to support that in every chance I get.
Very good, John. Thanks very much.
I wanted to do that now, but I did it that other way, so
yeah,
it's just as well.
That's it.